Hello Internet, my name is Creation and today we're going to be talking about everything Battlefront related because a lot of news and information and even a cinematic trailer came out, which I thought was pretty cool, and I thought it would be a good time to just hold a general discussion and such. This is going to be a unscripted recorded commentary because I just feel like it's better to just discuss and get some of my thoughts out there on the trailer and on the game and what I would like to see from Battlefront, and hopefully I won't miss anything. So that sexy new trailer. Now in the trailer I noticed that the graphical fidelity of the game has of course been stepped up from the old PS2 and PC versions of the game. The graphics on the trailer looks very nice, but yet it is an in-game rendered cinematic. It's not gameplay footage. But what I've heard from many people and what many people tell me of the gameplay trailer that they have seen, personally I haven't seen it myself, is that the game looks very good. But I would not go running to go pre-order this game, and I hope none of you do that. I know the Battlefront hype is here, the hype has awoken, but you guys have to really just hold back and actually wait till you see the game and make sure it's in working condition, because we do not want to have a reinstatement of Battlefield 4. Speaking of the Battlefield series, Battlefront isn't going to be a reskin of Battlefield 4 or Battlefield Hardline. Actually, it's going to be a very unique game, and it's not just a rebuild of Battlefield Hardline or Battlefield 4, what many sources have said, those who have actually went and got a chance to play the game. Now, the player count for Battlefront is going to be 20 versus 20, which is very different from what we've seen with previous DICE games of the Battlefield franchise, of it being either 32 or 64, but I feel like 20 versus 20, a maximum player count of 40, isn't that bad, because I remember the original games, and the maps, I would say, really varied, but I don't feel like they were that big. And seeing that Battlefront 2 max player count was around like 24, I think even 32, I hope that they go for that same size and that same formula, because it really worked and it was very well spaced for me personally. And I hope with a beta, if Star Wars Battlefront 3 does get one, that we can actually space out and see what works best and maybe even increase/decrease the player counts on certain maps. Now, like I said before, we don't know if Battlefront is actually going to be getting a beta. Now, other DICE games usually have a beta around in the summer/really early fall, but I know that Xbox One users are going to be having that same experience of where if you have EA Early Access, or EA Access as I believe it's called, you're going to be able to play the game for a certain amount of hours before anyone else. Now, I know a lot of you guys were very disappointed that you didn't get to see any Battlefront 3 gameplay actually being shown, and I believe that trailer is going to be coming out around the time of E3, if not at E3, along with the beta, because Star Wars Battlefront really needs a beta. If you think about it, look how much Hardline Alpha or first beta or the beta before the beta changed the game. It definitely gave DICE, Visceral, it definitely gave Visceral some much needed feedback and time to actually change the game, even though some things are still broken in Hardline that we talked about in the beta, such as, you guessed it, weapon balance. And I don't know where that patch is coming out, or even if it has. I haven't played Hardline in quite a while. I was waiting on that patch. But anyway, betas are good, and it would be cool to see one before that November 17th release date. And I believe in the European/other countries, it's going to be the 19th and the 20th, because magic. I don't know about that release date for the Europeans, but who cares? America. Oh my, this live commentary. But anyway, like I said, betas are good, player counts are good, and also they don't have a story mode in Battlefront anymore. Even though Battlefront 2 kind of had this weird, and Battlefront 1 even had this kind of narrative from the Emperor or Vader or just the leader of the 501st clone troopers. There was just always some back dialogue to just give you some information of what was going on to the next battle. And also you had to do these little objectives around the map, but it wasn't really that big, and I'm kind of happy that they removed any type of story from this game, because we're going to be getting the Force Awakens movie just in a few weeks from the game's release, and I feel like that's enough story, and that I think they probably just shouldn't touch the story. DICE is going to somehow put an Asian woman in there, but I just feel like the taking out of the story is a great idea, actually. Even though it kind of did piece together like the movies, and also it gave you some kind of backstory of what was going on at the time and what the character who was playing. We got to see some things like how the clone troopers felt before the war started. From a personal record of the leader, it just didn't feel unique enough to me, and it felt more like a filler. But anyway, they're going to continue this kind of filling in where the movie depicts and places the movie kind of talks about but doesn't actually go into. You're going to see like the Battle of Jakar, which is the first DLC for this game. I know, DICE DLC. We already knew it was going to be there. Open your eyes, do not fool yourself. But there is going to be a DLC coming out for the game. It's going to be free though for everyone, but if you do pre-order, you get the DLC like a week early, which I find very nice. And it's going to be themed off the planet Jakku, which we actually saw in the Force Awakens trailer. But it's going to be a few years later, because there's a major battle that actually happens on that planet, and you're going to be able to take part in that battle, which is always amazing. So far, all my impressions of Battlefront have been pretty positive. The only thing I would say that was a bit disappointing was to see that no space battles are going to be returning. That space battles aren't going to be there is a bit different in Battlefront, because I remember the game heavily relied on these space battles to kind of determine the conquest mode, and it just feels like a huge part of the game has been ripped. But fortunately, you're still going to be able to play in the TIE fighters and the Y-bombers. Everything is space combat wise, it's still going to be there, but it's just going to take place above the ground, and you're going to be able to seamlessly transmission between flying and actually landing and going to go fight, which I feel like I guess brings kind of this one universe of battle to the game. But also I feel like we lose that kind of alternate stage that the game took place on, because those space battles were very important in the game's conquest mode. But the thing that I miss, I guess, the most about Battlefront, even more than the unique conquest system that it had, was being able to switch through first person and third person seamlessly. And that is going to be able to be available in Battlefront 3. And as a Battlefront fan for a long time, I guess that was really it. That was the deciding factor. I'm like, yes, they have actually looked into the older games and actually are like kind of making a sequel to them, but giving it its own DICE flavor. Honestly, I feel like this is just going to be used how it's used in DayZ, to kind of get an advantage in third person and then to actually aim in first. And I guess I didn't really use that much back when I played Battlefront 2. It was more of, oh, I feel like playing in first person. Oh, I want to play in third person. And I don't think there was even a way to even switch it without going into the game mode settings. But apparently, this time is actually a key you can bind it to. So that's going to be fun. But I have to say, the funnest of them all is seeing the hero and the villain system return. This system basically allows you, if you play good, you get rewarded and become either a hero from the game or a villain, depending on what side you're playing. And I'm very happy to see that, and I hope that actually DICE includes this game mode I used to play way back in Battlefront 2, and that's just heroes versus villains. It's just Star Wars lightsabers and blaster battle, pretty much, with all the heroes and iconic characters from the game. And I'm not sure if that was actually an official game mode from Battlefront, but I do remember it being a custom server option. I do remember that. But I hope like fun modes like that takes place and it kind of makes it in because Battlefront has been done. I would love just to see something new come out from DICE, and hopefully they just make a really good game. So guys, let me know any of your thoughts, concerns, or anything you would just want to like point out from the trailer. I would love to hear that. I would love to get some discussion going. I'm going to be replying to comments and such, and I hope to see you guys very soon. Anyway guys, if you can leave me a thumbs up, that would be greatly appreciated. It helps the channel a lot. If you want to subscribe, I'll be posting up more Star Wars Battlefront content pretty much since the game comes out, and hopefully years after that, because I'm a big fan of this franchise, and hopefully I can see you there. That made absolutely no sense, and that's why we don't do live comms. I'll see you guys later. Stay creative, guys.